Given approach shots account for 40% of the scoring advantage between different standards of golfer according to the stats gurus, we were intrigued to uncover what irons Champions Tour pros entrust with the most critical part of the game. Having looked previously at the iron choices of the top players in the PGA and LPGA Tours, in this video we wanted to focus our analytical lens on the irons chosen by the best players on the Champions Tour, to see what are the most popular irons and to find out where the senior pros stand in the blades versus cavity back debate. Welcome back to the Golfing Focus channel, everybody, and when it comes to the irons used in the PGA Champions Tour, our in-depth study of 50 of the top 100 senior tour pros found Ping models are the most used irons, with Miguel Angel Jimenez and Jeff Maggart among those choosing them. Callaway irons are the next most played, including by 2023 Money List winner Steve Stricker. Titleist and Strixron irons, meanwhile, are the third most popular, and the most common iron setup is 4-iron to pitching wedge. Golfing Focus's analysis further uncovered that Strixon's ZX7 irons are the most used individual irons on the Champions Tour, with 12% of this elite group using them, including Ernie Els. Titleist T100 irons are chosen by 12%, with Callaway's X-Forged irons the next most popular, with 8% playing them. Tour Edge's Exotics Pro 723 irons are that brand's most used model. In total, our in-depth study found 30 different models of irons being played by the Champions Tour pros across 10 different manufacturers. While this fact, combined with our overall analysis, showed the top senior pros to be very much like their main tour colleagues on the PGA Tour in terms of their consistent tinkering with the irons that they play, what was also interesting to note was the prevalence of iron brands which don't feature on the main tour. Tour Edge and Mizuno irons, for example, were more prevalent in the club data we analysed on the Champions Tour compared to the PGA Tour. In addition, we found TaylorMade irons to be far less popular on the Senior Tour when again compared with the main tour. And this in turn brings us on to the issue of sponsorships and how much that affects the iron choices made by the top senior pros. It obviously does. And as such, we hesitated somewhat when describing various irons as the most popular as opposed to the most used. Once again, the data available on the Champions Tour pros is not as extensive as it is in the PGA Tour, but we were still able to discover that at least 64% of the 50 senior pros we researched are playing the irons made by one of their manufacturer sponsors. This percentage is in all likelihood to be higher, however it was refreshing to see some outliers. 2023 Champions Tour winner Steve Stricker, for example, chooses to play Callaway's Apex Pro 2019 irons, despite his sponsorship deal with Callaway only including an obligation to use their Odyssey putters, according to Golf Digest. With his use of 7 different brands of clubs in his bag, Champions Tour legend Bernard Langer also does not appear to let endorsements impact all of his club choices. Having signed a multi-year equipment deal with Tour Edge in 2021, he does currently play a mixed set of Exotics CBX forged and Exotics Pro 723 irons produced by that manufacturer. But he also has 6 other manufacturers' clubs in his bag, including Ping, TaylorMade, Adams, Cleveland Titleist and a Callaway Odyssey putter. Ex-Ryder Cup captain Tom Lehman, meanwhile, still appears to put a combination of old TaylorMade irons, Burner and TPMC forged 2011 models in play despite his headline sponsorship deal with Tour Edge. And although he has been with Bridgestone since 2006, it was fun to find Fred Couples still playing with the dual pocket cavity irons he's been using a version of since 2010. The topic of blades versus cavity backs generates a lot of attention amongst regular golfers, as many remain convinced blades are not only what all good golfers should be using, but also that they are good for golfers of all standards to help them improve their ball striking abilities. So when it comes to the best pros in the Champions Tour, we were keen to discover where they stood in the issue. Among the 50 senior pros for which irons information was available, our analysis, however, only found 3 of them use blades. Miguel Angel Jimenez, for example, uses a set of Ping Blueprint T blade irons from 4-iron to pitching wedge, while Vijay Singh chooses Mizuno Pro 221 models for his blade irons starting at a 5-iron. So it appears the vast majority of the Champions Tour pros we researched are clearly settled on their preferences for cavity backs over blades. And even among the pros who do use blades, only Jimenez uses what would be considered a full set of them. That being said, the remainder of the best senior players showed a clear preference for players' golf irons, which, while not quite as small and thin as blades, are not far off. Although this category of irons does still offer a little more forgiveness based on them having some type of cavity back. These irons are also targeted at low handicap and elite golfers, and therefore while Champions Tour pros use cavity back irons in the main, we found them almost always to be in the players category. There were some notable exceptions, however, among the senior pros who opted for a mixed set of irons comprising more than one model. For example, we found Rob Labritz, Tim O'Neill, Davis Love III and Brian Gay all to be choosing for their long irons a player distance iron, a model another step up in the forgiveness ladder and designed for golfers with handicaps up to the low double digits. The first three in this small group chose Titleist T200 irons for the 3 and 4 long irons, but also up to a 7 iron in Rob Labritz's case. And we also even found top 10 Champions Tour rank Alex Sedgka with a mid-handicapper Callaway X22 3 iron in his bag. So although the senior pros we analysed most frequently chose the least forgiving category of cavity back irons for their bags, we found some willing to embrace the benefits of the much more forgiving irons a huge number of regular golfers use. What we didn't see as much as we did in our analysis of the iron choices of the top pros in the PGA Tour, however, was the best Champions Tour pros opting for a mixed set of irons where they put more than one iron model in their bag. On the PGA Tour, our in-depth club study discovered 42% of the top 100 PGA Tour pros opting for a mixed set of irons, but on the Champions Tour, by comparison, we found only 14% of the Senior Tour pros preferring a mixed iron set. Whether the Champions Tour pros will follow their main tour colleagues in this increasing trend in future years remains to be seen, but for now they seem happy with sticking with one iron model for their iron set when you take driving or utility irons out of the equation. So that's it for this video. If you enjoyed it, please do hit that like button and click on one of those boxes on the screen to join us in another one. And as ever, and most importantly, we hope you're enjoying your golf.